In the heart of ancient Rome stands a monument that has witnessed glory, brutality, ambition, and fear, the mighty Colosseum. To millions, it is a breathtaking symbol of Roman engineering. To others, it is a graveyard of forgotten souls. But what if the truth behind its towering arches is darker, deeper, and more calculated than history books ever dared to reveal? The story begins in 72 AD under Emperor Vespasian, founder of the Flavian dynasty. Rome had just emerged from chaos. A civil war that nearly tore the empire apart. The people were restless. The empire needed distraction. And so, rising from the ashes of political instability, construction began on what would become the largest amphitheater the world had ever seen. It was not just architecture. It was strategy. Built over the drained lake of Emperor Nero's extravagant palace, the Colosseum was a message carved in stone: the era of tyrants was over. The Flavian emperors were giving Rome back to its people. But behind this gift was something far more calculated: control. Imagine the roar of 50,000 spectators shaking the ground. The smell of sweat, sand, and iron hanging in the air. The sun burning down on a sea of faces hungry for spectacle. Below them, gladiators stood waiting, some prisoners of war, some slaves, some volunteers chasing glory. Every sword raised was not just entertainment. It was a reminder of Rome's power over life and death. The games were called munera, meaning duties. They were presented as sacred rituals honoring the dead. But over time, they evolved into something much larger: political theater. Emperors understood something powerful: if you control the crowd's emotions, you control the city. Bread and circuses. Free grain and free entertainment. It was the perfect formula to silence unrest. While citizens cheered at staged hunts, executions, and gladiatorial duels, political decisions were made quietly behind palace walls. The Colosseum became Rome's greatest distraction machine. But here is the untold truth: not all gladiators were doomed men marching toward certain death. Contrary to popular belief, many fights did not end in death. Gladiators were expensive investments. They were trained in special schools called ludi, fed carefully, and medically treated by skilled physicians. They were athletes, celebrities of their time. Some even became idols among women and symbols of masculine strength. Graffiti discovered near the arena reveals admiration, even obsession. Yet brutality was real. Exotic animals, lions from Africa, tigers from Asia, bears from Europe, were transported across continents just to die for spectacle. Entire ecosystems suffered to fuel Rome's appetite for dominance. The arena floor could be flooded for mock naval battles. Trapdoors and underground tunnels allowed dramatic entrances, turning slaughter into choreography. Beneath the wooden floor lay the hypogeum, a labyrinth of cages, elevators, and hidden corridors. Slaves worked in darkness, operating complex pulley systems to surprise the audience with sudden appearances of beasts or fighters. It was engineering brilliance serving merciless entertainment. And then there were the executions. Criminals, prisoners of war, and those deemed enemies of Rome were publicly executed in theatrical reenactments of myths. Death was turned into storytelling. Suffering was turned into applause. But why? Because fear unites people as effectively as hope. Watching others perish reminded citizens of the consequences of rebellion. The Colosseum was not just an arena, it was a psychological weapon. Over centuries, earthquakes, neglect, and looting damaged its structure. Stones were repurposed to build churches and palaces. Yet it never truly disappeared. Its shadow lingered, whispering stories of ambition and cruelty. Today, tourists walk through its arches with cameras, imagining epic battles. But beneath every step lies sand once soaked in blood. Beneath every stone echoes the roar of a civilization obsessed with dominance. The untold truth of the Roman Colosseum is not merely about violence. It is about power, how leaders shape narratives, manipulate emotions, and construct monuments not just of stone, but of influence. And this is only the beginning. If this chapter opened your eyes to the hidden layers of history, imagine what secrets still lie buried beneath Rome's eternal skyline. Stay with me. Because in the next chapter, we uncover the secrets historians rarely discuss. The politics, the hidden symbols, and the shocking transformation that turned the arena of death into a symbol of faith and survival. And if you love uncovering truths that history tried to hide, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because some stories are too powerful to remain untold. Its decline was gradual, almost reluctant. For a time, it was reused for housing, workshops, even a fortress controlled by powerful Roman families. The arena that once echoed with roars became a neighborhood of survival. Earthquakes in 847 and 1349 severely damaged its outer walls. Massive stones fell, and much of the marble facade was stripped away. Yet this destruction gave birth to something unexpected, a shift in meaning. As Christianity strengthened its influence, the narrative surrounding the Colosseum changed. It became associated with martyrdom, believed to be a site where early Christians were executed for their faith. While historical evidence is debated, the symbolism grew stronger than facts. By the 18th century, Pope Benedict XIV declared the Colosseum a sacred site, dedicating it to the Passion of Christ. Stations of the Cross were installed. The arena of bloodshed was reframed as a place of remembrance and reflection. Think about that transformation. A monument built to display dominance became a symbol of spiritual endurance. This is the deeper truth: structures do not change, stories do. The Colosseum survived because each era reshaped its meaning. For ancient Romans, it was entertainment and power. For medieval families, it was shelter and defense. For the Church, it was sacred memory. For modern Italy, it is cultural identity and economic lifeline. More than 6 million visitors walk through it every year. They see arches, corridors, reconstructed floors. But few see the invisible layers, the political strategy, the propaganda machine, the human cost hidden beneath glory. Archaeologists continue to uncover new findings in the hypogeum. Evidence of advanced engineering suggests Rome was centuries ahead of its time in crowd control and stage design. Some historians now argue the Colosseum was one of the earliest examples of mass media, a place where the state broadcast messages through spectacle. The emperor's thumb gesture. Likely misunderstood by Hollywood. The reality was more complex than a simple thumbs up or thumbs down. Decisions of life and death were influenced by crowd reactions, sponsors, and politics. Even mercy could be strategic. And here is something rarely discussed: the Colosseum was a business. Sponsors funded games. Gladiators were branded. Victories increased market value. Betting was common. Fame was profitable. The arena functioned as an ancient entertainment industry, complete with marketing and fan culture. Sound familiar? Even today, modern stadiums mirror the Colosseum's design: tiered seating, VIP sections, controlled entrances. The blueprint of mass entertainment was born here. But the greatest untold truth may be this: the Colosseum reflects humanity itself. Our hunger for spectacle. Our fascination with competition. Our tendency to cheer from a safe distance while others risk everything in the arena. It forces a question: have we truly changed, or have our arenas simply evolved? As sunlight falls through its broken arches at dusk, shadows stretch across the ancient stone. In those shadows live stories of slaves who dreamed of freedom, emperors who craved approval, and citizens who sought escape from daily hardship. The Roman Colosseum is not just a ruin. It is a mirror. And perhaps that is why it still captivates us. Because somewhere deep inside, we recognize the arena, not in Rome, but within ourselves. History is never just about the past. It is about understanding power, belief, survival, and transformation. If this journey into the untold truth of the Roman Colosseum sparked your curiosity, imagine what other mysteries of the ancient world are waiting to be uncovered. Subscribe now and become part of a community that digs deeper, questions louder, and explores history beyond the surface. Because the greatest stories are not the ones written in textbooks. They are the ones hidden between the stones.